So this is the story of me. Hopefully you guys will get some inspiration out of this. Scary photo. I was born in Bristol, that's why there's that weird accent. And I moved to London for college and university, and life was pretty good. But I was going to all these rubbish networking events, and it was all full of suits, and I was really bored, and I was just like, this is rubbish, what is going on here? So I started Geekdinners. Actually, I took it from someone else, and I met some amazing people. This is actually Dave Shea, which is actually the forerunner to the hugely successful Girl Geek dinners. If you've not been to Girl Geek dinner, then you should definitely check it out. Also, just afterwards, I started doing BarCamps, which is another thing that just was amazing. So, they still run. We just did one at Media City. They're fantastic. Highly recommend you should go to them. And we also started doing hack days. We did the first hack day with Yahoo, which is at Alexander Palace, which is a massive place, and with about 800 people, I believe, which is incredible. So basically, life was great. It was great to be Ian Forrester, to be honest. I was speaking, and I was meeting such great people. This is Howard Rheingold, and I was married as well, which was incredible. It was so good that actually there was a poll in, this is in TechCrunch, and it actually got kind of reposted in The Guardian. So this is basically a poll to see who would take over from Ashley Highfield as the director of future media and technology. And the person who actually took over was Eric Huggers, just there, and obviously I'm at the top, so it's fantastic. So maybe I was overdoing some things. I had a real love for Red Bull and drinking lots of Red Bull. I used to drink Red Bull with Tabasco sauce in it because I thought it was better that way. Don't ask me why. I got divorced. It was pretty traumatic. Although we're now really good friends, and she's actually watching on the live stream, so hopefully she can see a picture of herself. So I was thrust into this new single lifestyle, dating quite a lot, and doing all this great stuff. New city as well, so I moved to a new city, came here, to fantastic Manchester, and I became basically the pin-up for the BBC's move to the north. This is actually in The Guardian, believe it or not. And actually, if you look on the website, well, I think it's all decommissioned now, but there's actually still some pictures of me and stuff like that. So, yeah, maybe life was a bit too good, I'm not even going to talk about this picture, but it's my picture. That's all I'm going to say. Something broke. Something happened. So anyway, something broke. At the same time, I was doing all this stuff. And this is before all this stuff happened. This was regular. I used to do so much stuff. And people used to come to me and go, oh, would you be part of this? Do you want to be part of that? Do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And I would just do it. I would just manage it. And there was some interesting things like, so this was just at the general election. So they didn't know who had won. So this gives you an idea of the time we're talking about. I had a bleed on the brain. Basically, well, to find out in a minute. It's actually, you're kind of born with it. But I didn't know, I just kind of, the question of, oh, what's those pills you take, Mum and Dad? Oh, they're high blood pressure pills. Never came up, which is a bit crazy. And yeah, increased stress, and people of African origin are increased, it's all, I was the #1 candidate for a bleed on the brain, but I had no idea. It's very serious. People die. Lots of people die. Lots of people die. And if they don't die, they result in a serious disability. I do walk slower, and I forget people's names, as you probably might notice. So, they did actually wonder if I was going to be able to walk or talk or anything. My mum and dad were actually planning to, because they were moving homes, they were wondering if they should, they were moving to a bungalow, if they should start thinking about wheelchair access, all this stuff, So what happened? This is what my mum wrote on the Kerrybridge site, which we'll come to in a minute. This is my last tweet. Actually, this is an old one. Okay, it's slightly different, but this is kind of my last tweet. It wasn't that interesting. This gives you another idea of the time. If any of you know, I am very prolific on Twitter. I tweet all the time. So when I stopped tweeting, people were very, very confused. This gives you an idea of, I actually mapped it out, this kind of geeky thing that I do, of all the stuff, because actually, there were 7 days when I was lying in bed dying, as far as I know, okay? So the question is, where were the real people? When I was lying in bed dying, where were the real people? This is so many friends on Twitter and London, all these different places, but where were the people that actually could go, Ian, are you okay? I'm going to take you to hospital. These guys, the guy on the left is my flatmate, Tim Dobson, and the guy on the right, that's my boss, Adrian Woolard, actually saved me. So Adrian tweeted, has anyone seen Ian? And Tim kind of responded, yes, he's fine. He's snoring next door, as I do, So they kind of had a direct message back and forth. And in the end, Adrian came in. He just happened to be in London, in Manchester, and he kind of, after 7 days, was wondering, no response from me. He kept on saying, Tim, could you get him to call me? All this stuff, And so I'm not sure if Tim called him or I don't know how that part of the story. He brought hobnobs. I don't know why. My boss likes giving hobnobs. He thinks that it's it makes you stronger or something like that. When I came back from hospital, I actually found these hobnobs. I was like, yes, this is actually true. It actually happened. So basically, I had 12 days of memory loss. So those days are completely gone from my memory. At the same time, as Adrian did and Tim took me to hospital, my mum and dad were informed. They came up, and my dad was actually trying to sell their house, and it was a bit of a mess. But then my mum was up in Manchester all the time, and she was looking for someone to kind of cry on. She needed to talk about stuff, and Sarah my ex-wife, happened to be in Warrington. Which kind of scared me at first, but it all worked out for the better. And so spoke to Sarah. Sarah then emailed all of the friends that we had in common and told them about it. So it was kind of becoming a public conversation. She started this Kerrybridge site, which is a site because there was so much rumors about what had happened. There's rumors, I believe, people saying that I'd fallen off my bike and I'm in a ditch somewhere, or I'd done too much Red Bull and now I'm lying in bed dying and all this stuff. So it was all rumors, it's craziness. So this was this is what's happening, and obviously, we got Tim and Adrian trying to keep it quiet, Sarah and my mum being very public. So it's really interesting because there's this guy. I can't remember his name now, Jeff Jarvis, who blogged about his prostate cancer. And I'm kind of a bit like that. I'm kind of very open and public. And Sarah knew that about me and really made that, really pushed that. And in the end, the BBC had to put up a blog post highlighting exactly what happened because there were so many rumors, So this is actually on the BBC Backstage blog. It's still around somewhere. Because it was on the BBC Backstage blog and there was the address and stuff like that, I got inundated with cards. The nurses thought I was some kind of celebrity because every day there was another 5 cards, another 10 cards. It was insane. I had nowhere to put them. ICU was, my mum and dad had to literally take them back home with them because there were so many. And this is not even the start of them. Then you had people like social media, cafe come in and start doing stuff, and they kind of came and visited me and stuff like that. Herb, thank you very much. I remember seeing this and almost crying in bed, just going, no way. Jeremy Keefe actually recorded a video of people in Boston saying, get well, Ian. You can see it, it's 85 seconds long, so it's not really worth watching. And my colleague at work, Rainy Cat, also did a similar thing. She sent a CD so I could watch it. So my mum, the first thing I knew about this was I woke up in hospital, my mum was calling my name. My mum said that I wouldn't respond to any of the nurses. They would call my name, they would try and shake me, all this stuff. But my mum was calling my name and I woke up. And I remember waking up and my mum going, do you know where you are? And I was like, what? Why can't I not move? I can't move, all this stuff. And she said, you're in hospital, you had a bleed on the brain, and all this stuff. And it was just so much, it was so emotional. I'm trying not to cry right now. It was really emotional. But after that, I kind of had some thoughts. Actually explained what happened. My first thought was, what did Google announce? Just like literally almost, this brush with death. And I was wondering, I missed Google I/O. What happened? Not only that, what happened in Lost? Oh my God, I missed Lost. I can't believe I missed Lost. Actually, along the side that, also they said, the government's been decided. It's kind of a conservative, Lib Dem coalition. And I was just like, you have got to be shitting me. Am I in like the Twilight Zone? What is going on here? Also, I was buying a flat, and I was wondering what happened to the flat. I wondered, the time just kind of like evaporates. So I kind of think, oh, maybe I've missed it. Luckily, my estate agent or my mortgage advisor was really good. I can give her a name if you want to. She called them and arranged the whole thing. And actually, she talked to my sister, and my sister then told her what happened, and she kind of put the whole thing on hold. So I actually do live here now, which is fantastic. So I didn't lose that. Oh. So this is my first Hello World. It was actually dictated. It was kind of, I could, in ICU you can bring a laptop in, but you can't plug it into the wall. So there's no way of charging it. And my laptop at the time was rubbish. So it was a difficult return to life. I started this hashtag, my brush with death, and as you can see, it's all gone. It's a real shame, because I would like to have seen some of the comments that people were saying, some of the rumors, not pointing any fingers, but just interested. I also miss Malcolm Gladwell, who was in the Lari. Joking. Don't say that. The funny thing about it is actually I bought tickets, and my friends all were meant to go there, and I had an ex-girlfriend who went there, and she was like, where is Ian? And obviously I was lying in bed, dying, so luckily she got some tickets on the door, but it's just stuff like that. Also, I was selling something on eBay. I was selling a computer, and obviously the seller paid and was like, right, where am I gonna get my computer? And I bought all the stuff for it, but it was just sitting there, so it never went to him. So my perfect rating went from 100% to 85.7%. It was very annoying. eBay are a nightmare when it comes to trying to say, hey, I was lying in bed, and here's a doctor's note to prove that I was like ill, and here's a whole of online resources to say this is what happened. Okay, they're terrible. Anyway, I won't even start about. I also forget people's names, so if anyone, don't be as upset if I forget your name. It's just one of those things now. So I had lots of time to think. It's almost like a sabbatical. The human mind is incredible. Even through all this stuff, I still feel great, and I love what I do, and I really want to kind of keep on doing it. There was a concern that I might not go back to work, and I might just kind of go, this is too stressful, but now I'm on stage at really TEDx, it's crazy, Happiness is all in the mind. Actually, I went to Think and Digital the year after, and Bobby talked about happiness, and it was just really interesting, some of these things that plagued the mind, all the negative thoughts and stuff like that. You don't have to have those. I am absolutely terrified of needles, and I had hypnotherapy. If a year ago or over a year ago, I would never have picked this up. This is basically you put it in, push it in, twist it, and then it's like a blood testing thing. I would never even touch this, So we are all complex and unique. And actually, since my brush with death, it's amazing the way you look at the world. It's like you look at things and you can't believe we're still here. And you can't believe that we all coexist and we all have our own concerns, and it's amazing. It really is. I can't explain what seeing you all kind of here, and it is incredible. And yes, I'm still an atheist. I have got a social worker, and he came once, just after I came out, and he tried to convince, he said to me, people that have near-death experiences tend to turn to God. And I said, yeah, that's not going to happen. Also, Imran tried to convince me that he turned me into a Muslim, and that's not going to happen either. So together we can do incredible things, And the late Steve Jobs, I'm not a big fan of Steve Jobs for many reasons, but actually this is, his Stanford talk, if you've not seen it, you need to see it. It's incredible, and it's kind of the kind of speech that I would love to have given, if I was still dying or something like that, But it's this bit I think is really interesting. It's your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. And so that's kind of what I do. I really push myself really far and do things. So I wonder, how many lives have I inspired, and how many lives can I inspire? What is the purpose of life? I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of life is, but I think it's something to do with inspiring people. And hopefully I've inspired you today. And I'm not going to cry, so thank you very much.